How much did you bring today to the closing table?
I think I had $0 in my pocket.
That's just awesome. So we normally say there's no program where you can go zero down. You just proved us wrong. There is a zero down option when you have the right house and the right loan program, and everything kind of comes together on those numbers. So it absolutely worked out for you that now you're a homeowner.
Oh, yeah.
Your payment as a homeowner is less than what you were paying in rent, and it's yours. If you know that you were in a rental agreement in May or prior to May of 2019 and you think, hey, well, can I buy a house? Would I be able to qualify for this? I'm the person you want to call. You want to call me because I know about this program, and I know about this program because of the networking that I do and all of the lenders that I have relationships with that says, what's your best program? What can you do for my buyers? What can you do? And understanding that not every bank or every lender has these funds available, but understanding what my clients' needs are helps me to put that piece of the puzzle together for them to make the right connection for a lender. So full disclosure, Connor is my son. He's my youngest son, and today is one of those happy days that we get to celebrate the closing on a property, and he is now a successful homeowner. So we want to just kind of go back through how this story all started, because it's very similar to what others may be dealing with or looking to do, and this is just one of those happy endings that you couldn't have written any better. Certainly starting just over a year ago, after you graduated from high school, 18, coming out of school, good job, and trying to find a place to live. Wanted to get out on his own, maybe living with a couple of roommates, and started tossing around the idea of apartments. Remember that?
Yeah.
We looked at some apartments, and he would ask me some questions, and we kind of just went down what would work best for him. So even though you're my son, or even more so because you're my son, maybe I want to make sure that you were getting the right first start in housing. And knowing that you were going to roommate, and you were probably looking at rent rates of about $900 to $1,200. So a year later, we've kind of worked this process through. You followed my directions, as your realtor, but more importantly as your mom. You kind of followed that advice and knew that we were working towards an end goal. That your job has stayed strong, you've stayed strong, stayed on the right track, making sure your credit stayed good, making your payments, keeping the rent history there. And then we had the tornadoes that hit our area. FEMA disaster relief comes through, and that then decides by county to create a disaster zone. So Montgomery County is one of the zones that's been given disaster relief. And oddly enough, that may benefit someone who was renting prior to those dates of the tornadoes in May. If they now decide to purchase and have the ability, they could get funding. You were able to buy today with the assistance of that of up to $5,000, which is just tremendous. And I'm super happy because you're my son, but I would have done this with any of my clients. Obviously, we offer this to anybody. It's just a matter of who was in the position then to where now it would work to their advantage. And knowing those lenders, knowing those title companies, obviously knowing me, in order to get that deal worked for you is really what it takes. You're a prime example of where doing those right things, taking those steps along the way, and applying for and working with the lender got you to the table and closed. So it's a win-win all the way around, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. What do you have to say about the process, experience or otherwise?
Obviously, you being my mom, it made it a little easier to listen to you, but being able to put full faith and trust into you was 100% what needed to be done. I think anybody going through this process that doesn't quite know what they're doing or what to look for should absolutely trust you, and it's been a great experience.
Awesome. And that is not a paid endorsement, by the way. So excited for you. And that's what we have.